Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Well, if you see me looking down to this corner, it's because I'm looking at my laptop to make sure that I can see all the comments. Um, but while we're waiting, this is what we'll be making today. It's a little bunny, and a rainbow ready for Easter. And we'll be using transfer paper. I used light transfer paper. So this is the brand that I'll be using. It's called Photo Paper Direct. I used it for the shirt. And then for the skirt, I'm using the dark transfer paper. So Photo Paper Direct. Well, anyway, my name is Pather. Hi, thanks for joining me today, and thank you, Mom Cricket Hobbyist Group, for giving me this opportunity. This is my very first Facebook Live ever, so I'm sorry if I'm nervous. Shaking a little right now. So for this project, if you don't really have to use a Cricut, but I prefer it just because I don't want to cut every single shape out by itself. Um, but you will need some sort of heat press. I don't like their page says you can use an iron, but I tried it and I feel like it didn't stick on as nicely. If you have a heat press or an easy press too, or just anything that is more even and you can apply a lot of pressure to, it'll really help iron it down. This is what I made first, and then I'll be using this one to show you how to make it. I didn't add the lace on yet because I found that when I added lace on, it got really flat and the outfit wasn't as cute. But I did sew it. Yeah, I'll start off with how to use Cricut Design Space to put your file in and how to print it, how to set up your machine so that way you can print it correctly. You can use any image you want. I chose this one because, again, well, it's for Easter. So I'm gonna get right into it, and we're gonna zoom into my laptop and go into Cricut Design Space first. First things first, you want to open up your the Cricut Design Space and then open up a new project. I'll be uploading my image. The image I have uploaded is a PNG file. You can just click upload image and then browse, and then wherever it is, you can just put it in there. I already have it uploaded in here. And then let's start with the shirt. So for the shirt, I put a lot of images on one paper because I didn't want to waste the paper. The thing with Cricut Design Space is that when you're scanning it and cutting it, it does create that box, that registration box around it. And I didn't want to waste half of the paper just to make one image. So I added a bigger one into this. You want to change the size. If you notice here, there's going to be an error message because this is too big. So if you do print and cut, the maximum size it'll do is 6.75 for width, and the height is 9.225. So I'm just going to change the height. Don't touch the width at all. So you'll notice that it's mirrored. For the white transfer paper, you do have to mirror your image. If you don't mirror it, it's going to be ironed on backwards. So I'm going to click make it after you change the height to 9.25. The width will be 6.259. Don't worry about that. It'll auto like correct it to the correct ratio. As long as the height is 9.25, you're good. Click make it. All right. So again, if this is your own personal image, make sure you click mirror, which is right here. I already mirrored my image because I created a JPEG file. I'll go over that shortly. But if this is your own personal image, you want to make sure you mirror it for the light transfer paper. We're doing the light transfer paper first, and then we'll go into the dark transfer paper after. You want to click continue, and then you want to send to printer. If this is your own personal image, you want to click add bleed. And the reason why is because if you don't, sometimes even though it has registration marks, Cricut doesn't cut it directly on that exact line, or it might not cut directly around your image or your design. So it might look a little choppy unless you want an outline around it. I personally didn't. I wanted it to be clean and cut. You can print it to your printer. What I like to do, and these next couple steps are completely optional, is that instead of sending it to the printer, I like to change it to a PDF. And the reason why, or you'll click print and it'll save it for you. After you save it to a PDF, then it'll look like this. I'll show you in Photoshop really quickly and I'll jump back to that, why I chose to do this instead of printing it out directly from Cricut Design Space. So this is how it looks without making any changes to it. So just look at the red of the rainbow. And then this is how it looks if you put the PNG file directly on top of it. It's a lot more vibrant because sometimes when you print directly from Cricut Design Space, especially for vibrant colors on these transfer papers, it doesn't look vibrant. And just to like give you an idea, I have 2 printed papers here. So this is how it looks when I printed it directly from Cricut Design Space. And then this is how it looked after I edited it. So I pulled it and I turned it into a PDF, and then I pulled it into Photoshop and I put my PNG file on top of it to make it look more crisp. So I mean, I prefer a cute bunny with a light ombre compared to a dirty looking bunny, but you know, it's all preference. Again, this step is completely optional. I personally like to do this step because I feel like it makes the colors more vibrant and it looks a lot nicer on the outfit. Okay, so going back to how I actually did that file. So if you open it up, and you have to have Adobe Acrobat for this. Once you saved it, it's going to be a PDF. Again, this part is optional, but if you're wondering how I converted the PDF image into the more vibrant picture, because the thing is that you have to have the registration box around it in order for Cricut to recognize where to cut it. You just do File and then Save As, and then for the Save As type, you want to change it to JPEG, and then example, can't type, save. And then you'll open up your image on Photoshop, and that's when you'll place your PNG image on top. So just to give you an idea, just File, Place, and then find your PNG image, place. Again, this is optional and it does take a lot more time. You don't have to do it, but I like to do it. You want to click the lock button so your image is locked down, and then you just pretty much place it on top. If you don't want to go through those steps and you just want to print it, go ahead and print it through your printer, and then you connect to your Cricut. Okay, sometimes this Bluetooth works, sometimes it doesn't. Do you guys have this problem too? I have to connect it to my USB. But essentially, after you click your Cricut device, it'll ask you what setting you want to cut it at. You want to create a new material, and then you want to change the pressure of it to, I believe it was 127. I tried it. I actually spent a few hours on this just trying to find what the right pressure point is for this one. So because we're on a time limit, I'm not gonna have you sit here and watch my Cricut cut everything, so I actually pre-cut it. For the black transfer paper, it's the same exact thing that I showed you for the light transfer paper. For the process of doing it through Cricut Design Space, the difference is that for the dark transfer paper, you don't mirror it, so you can't really tell since the bunnies look good both ways. But if you look at the logo on it, Pathers Passions, for the dark transfer paper for the skirt, you don't mirror it. You keep it as is. For the light transfer paper, you do have to mirror it. The Cricut took me about 8 to 9 minutes to cut this one out. And then for the dark transfer paper, it took me about 5 minutes to cut it out. It took longer because of the wording. So what you want to do is you want to cut out the part that you'll be using for your actual image. Everything else you can use it for a different project, or if you had something else that you want to print with it, then go ahead and add it into your add that. You can choose that option during Cricut Design Space. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and cut around it, and then you can use your weeding tool. I have this pin that I bought from Amazon. It works really well. It was relatively cheap for like a pack of 5. But you want to go ahead and weed out the outside of the image. You're going to reverse weed. And you're going to keep your image on there. And then, so here's how it looks. And then don't forget to do the inside of the letters too. For your heat press, you want to set the settings to for me I found that 310 works. 310 for 13 seconds. So the way you apply it is different for both. For the light transfer paper, you're going to do it for you're actually going to do it 2 times. You're pressing it twice, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to put a parchment paper on top of my mat because I did, when I was doing sublimation one time, I forgot to put something underneath it, so it's completely ruined forever now. So anytime you use polyester or anything with polyester count on top of it, you want to make sure you place something on top so it doesn't leak to your work. And here's the shirt that I'm doing. This is a 12-month just regular Gerber onesie that I found at Target. And then what you want to do is you want to heat up your material first. Oops. For about 13 seconds. It's okay if the temperature's not all the way there. I just do it just to kind of warm up the material. For your light transfer paper, you're going to place it directly on the onesie. And if it's moving around, you just want to try to fix it. Make sure it's nice. Oops, I'm just gonna have to redo it. Or I'm just gonna have to put it on there. If you ever forget which paper is which, just, you know, the light transfer paper has the red logo on the back, whereas the dark transfer paper, it has the blue logo on the back. Oh, there you go. The heat press is ready. Again, you want to keep the temperature at 375 for 13 seconds. And then I'll be using, you don't actually have to put anything on top of this, but I'm going to do it just in case. I'm going to place another parchment paper on top. And then you want to press as hard as you can for 13 seconds. Now that that's done, you can take it off. And then you can peel this off now. Oh no! Let's see. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, it's cute. All right, and then in the light transfer, with the light transfer paper, they do give you a piece of paper that they call silicone as well. You want to use that silicone, and then you want to cover this image, and then you want to press it again for 3 more seconds. And if you you can tell that, you know, it needs to be pressed again, because if you feel it, it's actually pretty sticky. It doesn't feel too comfortable. You want to press it again with the silicone to make sure that it stays there permanently. So 3 seconds. Really hard. Okay. All right. And now you just take it off. And that is done. So the onesie's done. If you want to add the lace like I did, then you can add it after. Um, I like to have the full look. So I actually ironed it after the fact. If you iron it before, it'll be very flat. Let me show you an example. So before I did this, I actually watched a YouTube video on how to do it, and someone said that if you want, you can actually, instead of the silicone paper, if you want it to feel more seamless with it, then you can use a regular copy paper. I did try that with a different type of fabric and it worked out pretty nice. So I tried it with this fabric. That's why it turned out okay. But if you look at it closely, you can see that there's like linty stuff on there. It didn't turn out too nice. I should have just done a silicone with this. And I tried it on the onesie and it got worse. So don't use copy paper for stretchy material. It's not gonna turn out good. And then this, I actually sewed this image on before I pressed it. So it looks very, very flat, the ruffles, and I don't know, it just doesn't look as full. It's not as appealing to me. So if you want it to look more full like this one, then sew on any ribbon or any other attachments that you want after. Again, don't use copy paper. Use the silicone paper that's provided with the packet. Onesie is done. Now let's go to the skirt. So this right here, it will be the dark transfer sheet. The way you set it up is exactly the same as the light transfer sheet on Cricut Design Space. If you want to go the optional route where you fix it up in Photoshop and Adobe Acrobat, then you can go ahead and do that. I already cut these out because I didn't want to wait 10 minutes for these to cut. My Cricut actually took about 5 minutes to cut each one. So I already had it pre-cut. For this one, you actually don't have to cut it out. You actually just peel these off like a sticker. So I'm gonna start with this one right here. I actually did all the rainbows first because depending on the size skirt that you have, you will just apply it, I don't know, however you like. I wanted it to go in a pattern throughout the skirt as rainbow bunny rainbow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all the rainbows first. So again, you just peel it off. I use my pin tool to peel it off like a sticker, and then just put it on. Yeah, I feel like the dark transfer paper is actually easier, or I guess more fun to work with. But it is pretty frustrating when you have very delicate designs. So for the wording that I had, right, for the onesie, I would not want to peel everything off as a sticker. I mean, there's so much going on here. I wouldn't want to peel everything off because what if I misplace it? It's not like a regular HTV vinyl where you already have a piece of sticky iron-on tape that acts as transfer paper that stays in place for you. So this is one of those cons where it's like, well, you kind of just have to place it where you need it. It's not really meant for intricate projects. And why I really like it. Pro is that I don't have to spend all day weeding just to get all the little intricate details. Like if you look at my rainbow closely, I actually drew some little Hmong inspired swirl hearts throughout the entire rainbow. And I don't know about you, but I would probably dread weeding every single detail of that for every single rainbow for a skirt. And even just for one onesie, it's gonna take so much time. Another pro that I like, so the pro for this one is that it's just really easy to just print one sheet and then the Cricut will just cut around it. It saves you a lot of time if you don't go that optional route of editing in Photoshop. And you know, it turned out really cute. If you use HTV vinyl, you won't be able to create that gradient on the bunnies like I did here. So again, that's a pro of this. Really easy to use. Um, lots of colors. Only one sheet instead of the regular HTV route where you had to cut out however many pieces of however many papers or however many colors, sorry, that you need. Another pro for using this is that especially if you're doing multiple colors, it's pretty the feel of the vinyl on is pretty thin compared to multiple pieces of vinyl. It just feels nicer. Okay, so this is done. So I tend to do about 4 pieces at a time. I guess I'll do maybe 3 pieces at a time. Make sure you don't put your heat on. Make sure you don't put your heat press on anything that's not covered by the silicone, because if you do, it will shrink and it'll ruin the image. And I'll show you what I mean by that later. But for now, let's go ahead and press it for 13 seconds really hard. So here you go, it's done. That's how easy the dark transfer sheet is. You just have to press it once and you're done. So I'm gonna turn this skirt. And I'll do the next part of it. Oh no! Okay, so this is what I was talking about, right? So this bunny wasn't covered with a parchment paper, and now it's all wrinkled. Well, good news is that we have extra bunnies to go around, so I'll fix it up later. But yeah, if you don't have the parchment, the silicone paper on top, it will wrinkle up like this, and it'll ruin the image. Yeah, it's stuck on there. I'll fix it. Actually, here, let me try to fix it now. No, so you can see how it looks. Alright. Well, the other half is actually stuck on pretty hard. So let me show you how it'll look if you layer it. You can layer it. Again, just be wary of all the other stuff around it. Because if you end up, you know, getting an iron on those, then it'll just kind of ruin everything. Okay. So I'm gonna try really carefully to use the corner of the heat press to fix it. And press. Alright, good as new. You can't even tell that there's something underneath unless you really look, or unless you didn't line it correctly. Alright, so next. Oh no, my skirt. That you're done. See, look how cute that is. For the skirt that I previously made, I added some embellishments on it. So I added like a pearl trim and a waistband. The reason why I didn't add a waistband to this first is because I didn't want it to melt. Again, you have to keep it at 375 degrees, so it's pretty high. So now for the comparison, right? This is a comparison between regular HTV. So this is something I made for my son. He's obsessed with monkeys and, you know, monster trucks. I actually made this using 8 different layers of HTV. So if you feel it, it's pretty sturdy. It looks really high quality. And it just feels really nice. It feels really professional. The downside to HTV is that, well, obviously you can't create an ombre look. So when the purple flames turn to the green flames, it looked kind of, you know, tacky-ish. I should have made the purple look like flames inside, but I didn't. Whereas for the transfer sheet, the nice thing is that you can ombre it up and do whatever colors you want. And again, it's only one sheet. So if you feel this, it's actually pretty thick. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but if you see me doing this, you can tell that the material is very thick. Whereas for the transfer sheet, it's pretty like it's pretty flexible. It goes very nicely. It feels nice. It doesn't feel like you have anything extra, any extra embellishments on your clothes. So if you're the type of person that likes to have like very multiple colors, but you don't like the feeling of thick HTV, then transfer papers are the one for you. The one thing that I don't like about transfer sheets compared to this one is that if you have it on stretchy clothing, it breaks really easily. So if you stretch this out, you can clearly see like the stretch marks of the rainbow on there. It's not as hardy as the HTV vinyl. So it looks nice and it's really fast and easy to use. It's pretty quick. Cricut only took like 10 minutes to cut this out compared to about 30-40 minutes of cutting out every single layer and then layering them one by one on top of each other. It's a lot faster to do transfer paper. So if you're running out of time or if you just want like a ombre look, something that's not vectorized, then go with transfer iron-on. But if you want something that looks more professional, something that's more durable, something that lasts longer, go with HTV, regular HTV. The only downside to regular HTV is that it does feel pretty thick after a while if you do multiple layers. Other than that, let's see. I'll go ahead and show you different examples of, how things will look if you're curious, because I actually got pretty curious one day and I started playing with stuff. Say that I want to see how the dark transfer sheet looks on top of the seam. Let's try that out. I want to see how it looks. Just curious. Alright, so again, where's that silicone sheet? Oh, here it is. Now, I should iron it out first, just make sure that looks nice. That's good enough. Okay, so let's put the heart on the seam. This is the dark one, right? And then let's do a light one too. I want to see how it looks. And then you can kind of compare it to each other. If you're on the fence about deciding which transfer sheet you want and you don't want to buy both, then, let's try this out and you can see what you like. Alright, so here's how it'll look on a seam. I probably wouldn't advise putting on a seam, but I mean, if it turns out nice, then why not, right? Hi, Amy, new Amy. So I went through the walkthrough of how to put it on already. Maybe you can go back and look at it later. But now I'm just doing example sheets. I feel like HTV lasts a lot longer. It's a lot more durable. It lasts a lot longer. I washed this monster truck one that I made for my son at least like 10 times and it still looks brand new. I mean, obviously the shirt has wear and tear because he wears it so much, but the vinyl is still really, really good. The HTV is still really nicely intact. Whereas for this onesie, I only washed it once and it already looks like this. So I would never sell anything with this on it to, customers. But if it's like for like a one-time use, like for Easter or for Halloween or just something that you want to do pretty quickly, then yeah, I say do it. Go for it. It's cheap, it's quick, and it looks nice. Sorry, my voice cracked. I don't know why. But okay, so if you want to see how it looks on the seam, it actually looks pretty good. I'll probably do it again. So this is the light transfer. This is the light transfer iron-on, and this is the dark transfer iron-on. So you can clearly see the difference in quality and color. For the light one, it tends to blend in with whatever the background is, which is why I feel like it's only meant to use for white fabric, or I guess like a white canvas. I would never use this on this unless you want to go for that distressed look. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. So I do have some like extra HTV scraps too. I keep all my stuff in a little baggie in case I want to play around with whatever I have. Oh, you're welcome. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I've always wondered if a glitter iron-on will look nice on top of this. So Yeah, I'm just gonna try it out, and then you guys can join me for that ride. Let's see. Let's do a glitter iron-on. Just to see how it looks. Because I did, at one point, I was thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cute if, you know, we have this rainbow with like, I don't know, gold stars or something around it. I'm not gonna put it on this because I worked too hard on that already. But I'll do it on this. This is my scrap piece. I'm gonna try to put it on top. Let's see, layer it on top and see if it'll actually work. Okay. Oops. Oh well. So I just realized that for my glitter iron-on, it's only supposed to be at 310 instead of 375. We'll see how it looks. I don't know. I hope it didn't just melt. Oh my god, yeah, it just totally just did not work. My goodness. Okay, let's try that again. I think I put it on the wrong way. Okay, let's see. Oh, it works! So I can't put glittery stuff on top of my bunnies. So if you want to combine HT, like the transfer paper, with regular vinyl, you can. Although, like for the white one, it definitely did not last. It got like all ripped up. The dark one though, it can withstand another round of like of ironing HTV on. So it looks really nice. Oh, wait, sorry. Yes, so make sure, does it require washing inside out? Honestly, you should be doing that for all like material, including transfer paper and for regular HTV. They do recommend you wash it inside out and you wash it on delicate only. For me, like, I would just wash it on delicate and then dry it until it's damp and then just like hang dry after. Just because with the onesie after washing it, it's so ripped up that it doesn't really look as nice. I mean, for the dark transfer sheet, I feel like you can dry like you can dry on delicate like all the way through until it's fully dry and it's fine. But for the white one, it did not last long. I mean, it just got torn up in there. It looked really nice before, but after one wash, it's just like torn apart. The black isn't even dark anymore. Like if you look at that compared to the HTV, it just looks gray. But yeah, if you do wash it, turn it inside out and wash it on delicate, just so it lasts a little longer. I mean, HTV, I feel like you can just wash it on normal, and still be fine. But for a transfer iron-on, definitely wash it on delicate, turn it inside out. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, anything else? Sorry, I have no idea how to end one of these things, and I'm just gonna turn this off. But okay, do you pre-wash all your tees before ironing on? I know it's recommended, just asking. So honestly, for this onesie, I didn't pre-wash it. For the ones that like, or actually just for clothing in general for my kids, I tend to pre-wash it just in case they get an allergy reaction. Just because, you know, it's happened once where I didn't wash something and then my son had like bumps all over him. But if it's for like adults, if you don't have sensitive skin, I don't think you have to. It is recommended, but it really depends on the material you have. If you have cotton material, like for this flannel skirt, I did pre-wash the skirt before I sewed it up because like if you look at this one up close, can you zoom in? If you look at it up close, I did not pre-wash it, so the image looks all wrinkled. It does not look cute from up close. But if you look at the clouds and like all the little details, it's all wrinkled up because I didn't pre-wash the fabric, so it shrunk on me. I mean, it'll still stay on, but it's just not pretty to look at up close. But it's still there. So I would recommend pre-washing it, you know, if you plan on selling it or if you plan on just like keeping it long term, definitely pre-wash it in case your fabric or your material shrinks. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Hi, Leon. Oh, my son's back. His auntie took him for a walk because he wanted to be a part of the video, but it's dangerous to have kids near this, you know, for parents out there. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I'll probably get going now. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great evening. Feel free to comment below even after the live ends, and then I'll answer whatever I can. Or if there's anyone who's more experienced and has, more more details on it, maybe they can jump in and put some information in as well.